right, everybody. Today, we're diving into the world of tabletop fire pits.
Okay.
And specifically, this Born Third concrete fire pit.
Right.
It's been everywhere online.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really blown up.
It has? But is it all hype?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
That's what we're here to find out.
Exactly.
You guys sent in all the stuff, the website, copy, product descriptions, even safety instructions. So we're going to do a full deep dive.
Excellent. Love it.
See if this thing really lives up to, the whole cozy oasis image.
And you know what I think is really interesting about their whole marketing approach? It's like they're not just selling a product, they're selling this feeling, this experience.
Right.
Like, that whole cozy oasis language? That's very deliberate. They want you to really envision yourself in this idyllic setting.
Yeah.
Flames are flickering, creating this ambiance of warmth and relaxation,
Totally. And they even talk about dancing flames that could transform your morning coffee routine, which, okay, they got my attention.
Sure.
But concrete and fire,
yeah.
I don't know, that's a little head scratcher for me.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
I mean, it's not the first thing that springs to mind when you think fireplace, is it?
Right.
But I think that's part of their whole unique selling point, right? They're using this special high-temp concrete formula, which basically just means they've incorporated all these heat-resistant aggregates and additives into the concrete mixture. So it can withstand those really high temperatures without, cracking, crumbling, all that stuff. And let's be real, concrete's got that, modern, minimalist aesthetic.
It does.
That's super trendy right now.
Okay, so it's stylish and functional. I like it. But what about, the whole fuel situation? Because they're using, rubbing alcohol, right?
Right.
Is that even safe?
So they are very specific about using only 70% isopropyl alcohol, which is, your standard rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
You can find it anywhere.
Okay.
And I get it. It might seem a little unusual at first.
Right.
But it's actually, when you think about it, it's quite clever.
Okay.
Because isopropyl alcohol burns really cleanly. It produces minimal soot or smoke.
Oh, okay.
Which is a huge selling point.
Yeah.
For people who want that fire pit ambiance.
Right.
Without, your house smelling smoky all the time.
Yeah.
Setting off their smoke alarm.
So it's like the smokeless for the, urban fire enthusiast, something like that.
Exactly.
Got it. But how much heat are we talking here?
Yeah.
Is it a gentle warmth, or is this thing like roasting marshmallows from across the table?
Right.
And speaking of tables, I noticed they mentioned a concrete base.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just for decoration, or is there a reason for that?
So let's tackle that heat question first.
Okay.
They describe the flame as milder.
Okay.
So it's more akin to a cluster of tea lights than, a rowing bonfire.
Okay.
So think gentle warmth, kind of mesmerizing visuals.
Gotcha.
Not so much, a powerful heat source. And that concrete base that you mentioned, that's all about safety.
Okay.
That acts as a barrier between that hot fire pit, and whatever surface you decide to put it on.
Right.
So, an extra layer of protection. And again, I think that speaks to how much they're really emphasizing the safety aspect.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Safety first, I like it.
Yeah.
And I do like how they're not just slapping a warning label on it and being like, all right, we're done.
Exactly.
They're really trying to preemptively address any concerns.
Yeah.
Which honestly makes me a little bit more likely to trust them.
Absolutely. It's smart marketing. By being upfront about safety precautions and addressing potential risks, they're building trust with their audience.
Right.
Which is crucial when you're asking people to bring open flames into their homes. Or their patios and outdoor spaces.
Okay, so they've got the whole safety thing down.
Right.
But let's talk about the actual experience.
Yeah.
Because they have all these photos online of people gathered around this fire pit, and I'm like,
yeah,
s'mores anyone.
Yeah.
But you know what, that milder flame they're talking about,
right?
Is it actually practical?
Yeah.
For, a little backyard gathering.
Yeah, you're hitting on a key point here, because it's one thing to look cozy.
Right.
It's another to actually be cozy.
Right.
And this is where, those instructions that you sent are actually super helpful, because they actually give a burn time of 30 plus minutes per fill, which is about 2.5 ounces of the isopropyl alcohol.
30 minutes. Okay, so that's enough time for a decent hang.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple rounds of ghost stories.
Yeah.
But is it giving off enough heat
Yeah.
to actually feel the warmth, or is it more about just the visual
Right.
of the, dancing flames?
Right.
Asking for a friend who runs cold.
I hear you. And based on a lot of the user reviews I was looking at,
Okay.
people seem to agree that it's definitely a gentle warmth.
Okay.
Something you'll feel if you're
Okay.
close to it, like you said, maybe a foot away,
Okay.
but not something that's going to heat your entire patio.
Okay.
They even mentioned that the concrete itself radiates some of the heat,
Oh, okay.
which I thought was a nice touch.
Okay. So cozy vibes, not a space heater.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But they also really play up this whole smokeless aspect.
Right.
Or people actually finding that to be true.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes marketing promises don't quite match reality.
Totally. And there's always a difference between, smokeless
Right.
and like absolutely no smoke whatsoever.
Exactly.
So from what I gathered, most users actually do confirm
Okay.
that it is remarkably smoke-free,
Okay.
especially compared to like your traditional wood-burning fire pit.
Right.
Some people mentioned a slight odor when you first light it,
Okay.
but nothing too overpowering.
Okay.
And it seems to dissipate really quickly. And they actually recommend a specific brand of isopropyl alcohol
Oh, really?
in the instructions. So I wonder if that plays a role
Interesting.
in minimizing, any of the unwanted smells.
It's those little details,
Right.
They really show that they've thought this through.
Exactly.
Speaking of details, they make a big deal about this cedar lid.
Right.
It's not just for looks, right?
Definitely not just for looks. Remember how we talked about safety?
Right.
That lid is actually how they recommend you extinguish the flame.
Oh.
You just place it over the opening, cuts off the oxygen supply,
Okay.
safely puts out the fire.
Gotcha.
Plus, that cedar wood
Yeah,
probably smells amazing when it heats up.
that's true.
Adds to the whole sensory experience.
Okay, I'm sold on the lid. Practical.
Right.
Adds a little something.
Exactly.
But let's talk about those customer photos for a second.
Yes.
Because they really do show like a bunch of different settings. For this fire pit, it's not just for,
Right.
backyard hangs.
Right.
Right.
You're right. You're totally right. They've got people using it on balconies, patios,
Yeah.
even taking it camping.
Yeah.
And that plays into their whole thing about it being so versatile.
Right.
It's small enough to be portable,
Right.
lightweight enough to carry around, but still like substantial enough to
Yeah.
feel like a statement piece.
It's like they've tapped into this desire for
Right.
adventure, but also relaxation at the same time.
Totally. Yeah.
Take your concrete fire pit camping
Exactly.
or enjoy it on your balcony.
Exactly.
Speaking of balconies, though,
Yeah.
what about ventilation?
Right.
Because they do mention using it in well-ventilated spaces.
Oh, right.
So what does that mean for us apartment dwellers?
Yeah. I mean, that's where common sense comes into play. They're very clear about saying no enclosed spaces, so
Oh,
no
yeah.
screened-in porches or anything.
Right.
Using it indoors, obviously a safety risk.
Right.
Plus, you would set off your smoke detectors, even with
Yeah, true.
the, clean-burning fuel.
Yeah.
But a balcony, especially one that's open to the air,
Right.
that's usually fine.
Okay, good to know. I can already picture myself out there.
Right.
City lights are twinkling,
Yeah.
enjoying the ambiance without,
Exactly.
accidentally setting my apartment on fire.
And you actually bring up a good point about, the city lights.
Yeah.
Because they've got photos of people on their website using this fire pit, during the day, too.
Interesting.
So it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
is this a nighttime only thing?
Right.
Or does the flame, stand out even when it's not pitch black out?
That's a great question. Yeah, how
Right.
how strong is the visual
Right.
of the flame itself?
Yeah.
Because those marketing photos, they look amazing,
Right.
but they're probably professionally lit.
Of course. Yeah. And I think that's where,
Right.
digging into those user reviews for even those YouTube unboxing videos
Yeah.
can really give you that extra layer of
Yeah, the honesty.
honesty. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, people say the flames are definitely still visible during the day,
Okay.
but it's more about that subtle flicker, the movement,
Okay.
just adding a little something extra.
Right.
But at night, that's when it really pops.
Yeah.
Because you've got that contrast against the darkness.
Right.
So it really makes those, dancing flames come alive.
Starting to see why they use that phrase so much.
Exactly.
Really about setting the mood.
Okay.
And they've got that Family 5 discount code
Oh, really?
and a whole Facebook group.
Wow.
It's called, I'm not kidding, Born Third Family Fire Circle.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like they're creating a community around this fire pit.
Which is genius.
It is.
Because people crave that, right?
Yeah.
That connection, that sense of belonging.
It's true.
So by, fostering this whole family vibe,
Right.
they're tapping into something
Right.
deeper than
Yeah.
just, buying a product.
Yeah.
Like you're buying into this lifestyle,
It's
this shared appreciation for those cozy moments.
right.
And maybe even,
Yeah.
a few s'mores making tips from your fire pit enthusiast friends.
And who doesn't love a good summer's tip? But speaking of,
Right.
we've covered a lot today.
We have.
The safety, the materials,
Yeah.
the marketing, everything.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
What's your final verdict? Is this Born Third concrete fire pit all hype?
Right.
Or is it the real deal?
I mean, based on everything we've looked at, I would say it's definitely more than just like a trendy gadget.
Okay.
They've tapped into a few things I think people really want.
Okay.
Warmth, connection.
Right.
Just beautiful, well-designed things.
It's true. They've got me thinking, like,
Right.
which color would I go with?
Yeah.
The sleek, like carbon black, or
Yeah. What would fit in your space?
the more natural concrete look?
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Tough decisions.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
It is.
They've sparked that curiosity,
Yes.
that desire to personalize,
Right.
to figure out how this fire pit would fit into your life, your
Yeah.
own little cozy oasis.
I started this deep dive, with a pretty healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
I'm wondering where I can get a bag of marshmallows and some of that special isopropyl alcohol.
And isn't that the mark of a truly successful deep dive?
I think so.
We went beyond the surface, looked at all the details,
Yeah.
and now we're leaving with like a deeper understanding,
Yeah.
a newfound appreciation,
I like it.
and maybe even like a little fire in our bellies.
Well said. Until next time, folks, may your flames burn bright and your curiosity even brighter.